Boom, and we're in. Hold the line, caller. I'm Chris Grimes. This is Charlie Mullins. I've just got to press a button called Go Live on Instagram, which takes a little bit of time to go live. So this is a false start, Charlie.
Okay.
And as soon as this button starts to be reactive, come on. Yes, it's down. Boom. So so we're now going live again. And Dan, my podcast editor, knows exactly what to do at this point. So here we go, going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! We're here at last. This is, I'm delighted to say, at last, Charlie Mullins, aka the Pimlico Plumber, now the chair of WeFix London. And if you'll excuse me, just bantering about the joy and the struggle and the slight comedy we've had to get to this point, Charlie. You're a very busy man. I get that. And this has been the fifth. I'm going to be a bit cheeky. This is the fifth call out for the plumber. Boom. But you're here.
Very good. Very good.
And you've been, I know that in the time I saw you present beautifully at the Entrepreneurs Circle, the Entrepreneurs Convention that happened a few months ago. And as we met, I was there as a VIP, not because I'm very important. I paid a bit of extra, which got a cheesy handshake with the boom-tastic speakers, of which you were one. And then I really got intrigued by how you presented, what you said. You're somebody who speaks common sense in a world where it ain't that common, is what we feed on. Yeah. And I'm also hoping, and I'll let you speak in a minute because I'm just blowing a bit of happy smoke at you. I'm hoping also this will be a bit of a breath of fresh air for you from the point of view, I'm not so interested in the political or economic punditry you're normally asked to do. So I know that you're an entrepreneur. You sold your business back in the day, the Pimlico Plumbers, publicly, it's in the public domain, for a wonderfully juicy 140 million. And then very cleverly, you've risen as if a phoenix to go again, because you're now chairman of WeFix London, which is, from an entrepreneur's point of view, outside looking in, seems like an ingenious idea because you end up recompeting with yourself again and you've sold your last business. So you're a very clever entrepreneur, and that's why I wanted to find out about you. Anyway, the breath of fresh airness is because I'm interested in the story behind the story of being Charlie Mullins and how, you know, your leadership path and journey to now.
So, sounds good to me, Chris. Sounds very good.
And I love the fact in the exchanges we have had, and your PR consultant, Carl, is an absolute charmer. And we've had a really lovely bish, bash, bosh exchange ourselves, which is what I'm really looking forward to in this too.
Good, good.
So you're speaking to us from Marbella, please. And I'm in Bristol. So how's life in Marbella today? What's your story of the day, Charlie Mullins?
Okay, well, life in Marbella, I'm sure it's much better than in Bristol at the moment. You know,
how it is.
I presume the weather's not so good there.
Not as such, Charlie. It's not bad. I'm lying. I'm giving Bristol a bad. It's actually sunny, if I'm honest. So I now hope it's overcast where you are.
No, the sun's out, and if I wasn't sitting here doing this interview, I'd be sitting around the swimming pool, Chris, sunbathing.
Now I'm jealous again, Charlie. That's great. So you've got the upper hand there. That's great. The other banterous thing I wanted to say to you, when I first saw you on stage, I'd heard of you, but I hadn't seen you before. And the first flash of inspiration I had, and forgive me if everybody says this, but, if Rod Stewart had been a plumber, it would have been you. Because
look, you're right there. I mean, I don't see that side of me, Rod Stewart, but everywhere you go, people seem to mention it, and that's quite nice because the guy's a legend, and there's never going to be another Rod Stewart, is there? That's for sure.
Have you met him?
Have I met him? I bumped into him and said hello. I'm not sure if that's meeting him. Is it? You know what I mean?
Yes.
This was years ago. I was in a shop in Bond Street, and I just thought I'm going to say hello.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done. So that's the first time, really. Yeah.
And I wondered if that was a double take of who's looking in the mirror, or double, particularly if you're in a clothing shop, you must have both double, triple, and quadruple taked, I'm sure.
I don't know. It's a few years ago. I'm not sure that, you know, I was so known then or even resembled him so much. But that was, you know, quite a few years ago, probably 10 years ago. A lot's happened since then. And, you know, I've literally been in places where he is, or he's been with people that I'm going to meet up with. And, you know, they're literally sending me photos of them. So we're very close to perhaps meeting properly.
Yes, and I hope you do, because it will be a lovely exchange. And I wish I was there. In fact, I'll invite myself round so I'm there when it happens. Fantastic.
Yeah. Can I tell you a funny story? Is now the time to tell it?
Yeah. Go. Absolutely.
Okay, so you know, I'm often mistaken for him, and I wouldn't think he'd want to be mistaken for me. But evidently, he was in a restaurant in this was in the paper, Smith's Restaurant in Essex, quite a famous restaurant. Never been there, and there's a crowd of guys and women. Guy goes off to the toilet. He's an actor, evidently. I was talking to whatever part in a soap opera he's in. He goes to the toilet, and he sees Rod Stewart in there, but he thinks Rod Stewart is me. So he says hello, evidently. Now he's gone back to the table. He says to his mates, yeah, he said, guess who I've just met him now? He said, Charlie Mullins, see? And they all said, really? Yeah. They went, yeah, like he seemed all right. He opened the door for me, said hello and all that. All of a sudden, Rod Stewart comes walking out, and his mates are winding him up and going, what the fuck are you talking about? He said, that's Rod Stewart, it's not Charlie Mullins. And I was excited to meet Charlie, but, you know, I've been even more excited knowing it was him. So he mistook him for me, is what I'm getting at. And they put it in the paper, and I think Rod Stewart must think, you know, surely that don't happen much. It happens the other way round. A lot of people can't be, oh, you're Rod Stewart. But I thought that was quite funny that he was the Rod Stewart, and the guy thought he was me.
And the fact he'd gone to the loo, you're more likely to see a plumber in the bogs than Rod Stewart.
I think that, you're right, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm really happy that I mean, I didn't want to insult you by saying if Rod Stewart had been a plumber.
Not an insult. I mean, I've been called worse names than that. Don't worry about that.
Lovely. So let's get you on the open road. I am really, you know, I know you're an Elephant and Castle boy back in the day. You started in 1979. I nearly said 1917 there, which would have been wrong. 1979. You know, from one leak to an ocean, you created and curated with the Pimlico Plumbers empire. So I'm just really interested in the story behind the story of that as we go on the open road of the structure of this.
Yeah.
Also, I've really enjoyed the fact that I had you on the hook. You fell off the hook. You were back on the hook. And then when you finally concentrated on what the questions were, you fell off the hook again because you're thinking, what the heck am I talking about? And we had this. I loved it. You said to me, right, you've got 15 minutes and 15 minutes only. And if you can't convince me of what the heck this is about in that time. Anyway, 45 minutes later, I think I'd managed to sort of talk you into the idea that this could be okay. Yeah,
look, I'm a very direct person, and, you know, straightforward question, I'll give a straightforward answer. And, you know, yours is a different type of podcast. You know, I've now realised that it's a bit more unique, it's a bit more interesting, and a bit more very unusual. So, you know, I'm having to think a little bit about this, but, you know, I like to just give a natural answer, Chris, rather than anything false. But, you know, I've got my head around it now. You just use different words from me, but it's going to be a good one, believe me.
And you're worth the chase. So chase me. I've chased you, and here you are. Up the plumber's in. The 5th time we're in. Boom. So let me get you on the open road. Just for those that are maybe watching the show for the first time as well, this is the show in which I invite movers, makers, shakers, mavericks, influencers, and also personal heroes into a clearing or serious happy place of my guests' choosing, as they all share with us their stories of distinction and genius. And Charlie Mullins, your story is indeed one very distinctive and ingenious, because any entrepreneur who realizes the entrepreneur's dream of ultimately selling the entity you curated and created for 140 million is an extraordinary achievement. So congratulations for that from the get-go. So let's get you on the open road of the structure. There's going to be a clearing, a tree, a lovely juicy storytelling exercise called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At which point you were going, what? When we first spoke. Then there'll be a clearing. Sorry, there'll be some alchemy, some gold, a couple of random squirrels, a cheeky bit of Shakespeare, a golden baton, and a cake. So it's all to play for. So
over it.
Now we're through the barrier of what the fuck is this about? Here we go. Where is a clearing or serious happy place for you, Charlie Mullins? Where are you absolutely at your happiest?
We haven't done the first one yet, though, have we? I thought, what's my story of the day?
How's morale? What's your story of the day?
Yeah, that's right, though, Chris, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fine. But actually, I thought we'd cover that in I'm in Marbella and the weather's better.
Yeah, because I'm waiting for that wonderful question. What's my story of the day? Okay, my story of the day undoubtedly is about a new company that we've launched in October 2024 and called WeFix London. So 3 years were up in October the 1st or in September. Yeah. And we launched a new company October the 1st. we're what's that, 3, 4, nearly 5 months down the line, and things are starting to shape up. You know, this weekend has been a great weekend. They're getting busier. We're getting more interest into the company. We're getting a better reputation already. You know, the reviews are coming in. So after 4 to 5 months of starting a new business, we're starting to feel a lot more confident, and changes are starting to happen. You know, we're starting to be noticed, kind of thing.
Yes.
You know, and not, you know, people understand business. It takes a long time to get up and running. But when you've had a business, you think you're going to hit the ground running again, and it doesn't work like that. You're a new person in the game, and you need to get known, established. Where we thought, you know, a great reputation we used to have with the previous business, but it's starting to, you know, it's gathering some nice ground. So we're quite excited at the moment of we go into the for our 6 month of being in business, that things are starting to turn for the better. So that's my very, very main thing today. I could talk about it 24 hours a day, because
your passion's back there. You're doing it again. The passion of, you know, the Pimlico Plumbers is now reignited with the Phoenix they described in WeFix London, and you're going to be London's top service company. And
undoubtedly, I mean, you know, we was in the past. I thought we was going to be as soon as we opened up, but it don't work like that. You've got to convince people why you saying this, and why you better, and why should they choose you. And we started, you know, just getting that put together properly, and people started to see it. You know, we're a superior service, and I'm not knocking the previous business. Good luck to them. You know, there's plenty of work out there for all of us, and you know, customer has a choice, but customer will always go for quality. You know, that's the route we're taking.
And of course, the story I remember you talking about in terms of the journey and the trajectory of the Pimlico Plumbers, it was all about the best service, the best plumbers. So there's no avoiding the fact you're probably in London, in your patch, your manor. You're going to be competing against yourself in the old guard.
That's right. That's exactly it. And you know, there's a wonderful side of starting a great business and running it for 41 years and selling it. That's magnificent and wonderful. The downside of it is, if you ever come back in that business, and that's your competitor, there are hard people to get on top of. I mean, I'm now competing with a company that was the best in London, that I made it at, or the people with us. It's now 45 years old, so you know, it's been around a long time. It's got a good reputation. The standards, I don't believe, are what they used to be there. You know, that's been made quite obvious to me. Things have gone backwards a bit. An American company bought it. They're very corporate. They're not running it on a personal basis or a family basis, or even you know, this is my business basis. It's a bit like, you know, we're a big corporation. You sit there, you say this. What's the bottom line? That's the impression they give me, that you know, many American people and they run their companies, and I don't necessarily think that's the best way for the type of business that we sold them.
And it seems clear to me that, coming back to you being the founder of both companies, it's the bish, bash, bosh personal touch, which only, you know, even talking to you, I go a bit London, because you are that sort of salt of the earth, bish, bash, bosh, London. And if you get bought out by an American conglomerate, there's no doubting that the culture would dissipate, and it's no longer your Cockney bish, bash, bosh.
That's it. And so I'm not knocking the way they're doing it, but you know, if they want success, they should have kept it as it was. But you know, a corporation can't come in on and be a family, can they? You're either a family or you're not. You can't just make up your family. But you know, they've changed things a lot there, and you know, I believe the standards have dropped. And you know, I would have said at one time that my previous company, we was unbeatable, but they're beatable now. And
it's because you're there to beat them.
Exactly. If I'm being honest, you know, I think we've already gone above them in the sense of the quality of service we're offering.
You
know, we're offering a real superior service. We're employing the best people, and many of these people have worked with us before, and we're not poaching anyone. Lots of people moved on from the old company because they didn't like the changes, shall we say. So I think we're already offering a different service, a different superior service. We all know it's about turning up on time, looking smart, being transparent, getting the job done. And leaving everybody happy kind of thing, collection payment. I mean, that's what it's about. And I think we've already achieving that. You know, we've got some, you know, we're only employing the best, Chris. I know a lot of businesses say that, but believe me, your business is as good as the people you employ. And obviously, the better the people, the better the company. There's no two ways about that. And if you've got the best on board and you're running it the best way, undoubtedly you'll be the best. And that's the, you know, we've shortcutted a lot of this. Took years to get the right engineers. Took years to get the right people in the office. Took years to get the right people on your side. You know, we now know who the people are. We haven't got. You know, we haven't got to go through years and years of, no, we won't do that again. We've learned by our mistakes. So now, if anyone comes on, they will be right. And if they ain't right, they've gone within a day or two. You know what I mean? We're not here to be, I don't know what the word fuck's about, I suppose is the proper word. We're here to run a proper business. And if you've got what it takes and you want to be part of what we want to achieve, then it's a winning formation.
And I hope your strapline is bish, bash, bosh, because it's all about the bish, bash, bosh. But also, you're not reinventing the wheel. You're actually just upgrading the wheel because it was your wheel that you created in the first place.
That's exactly it. Yeah, exactly it. And we've started from day one here that, you know, we want to be the best out there.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can only be the best, going back to what I said, by employing the best, by having the best fans, by having the best experience, by having the best uniform. You've got to have all the abs kind of thing. And we've upped our game, put it like that. Because, again, I believe we set the standards out there. Yeah. And, you know, why are people going to choose WeFix London now rather than somebody that's been 41 years? Well, the reason they're going to choose us is because, you know, we're better than what we were. We're more experienced. We've got the right people on board. And we know, you know, we've learned so much by, you know, you learn so much by your mistakes, Chris, in business, you know.
Yes.
And our reviews already, we're the only plumbing service company now in London that have got all 5-star reviews. You know, I know we've only been going 4 months, 5 months. We've got all 5-star reviews, and they're not made up reviews. I'm going to bring this out in the open because a load of people play around with them, and it's all wrong with reviews, Chris. You can send in a damaging review to whoever they call Trustpilot, and you can make it all up. You know, you can say they're the worst plumbers. You ain't even got to produce an invoice number and an address, and they put it up.
Yeah.
And they do the same with the good reviews. You can say you're the best in the world, and they put it up, but. You know, and I know it's going on out there. I mean, we've had a few fake reviews, as Trump would say, put up there, talking shit about, you know. And the question you always say to these people, I mean, you get all these nuisances and pests on X and all the Instagram. Oh, yeah, you fucked this job up. Yeah, show me the invoice number. You know what I mean? Oh, you ain't got it? Well, that's a shock, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, there's a pest on there now saying, I don't know what we didn't do. I think we didn't turn up with some nonsense. They're giving us a 1-star review. It's a fake review. And, you know, the geezer like us mouthing off about it on there the other day on it. Oh, yeah, you've done this. Okay, give us the invoice number. No, you can't. You ain't got one, have you? And that all I'm trying to say, Chris, is they need to make reviews with the person's name on it who has had the work carried out or complaining, and an invoice number. And then, you know, if somebody come on to us about this complaint, we'll check it in 2 minutes. We'll either hold our hands up or say you're wrong. And on this occasion, like many of them, the question I just said to the guy is, put the invoice number up. No, you can't, can you? Because you ain't got one. Because we're unaware of it, Chris. Yeah. And it's damaging. You can ruin a company by these arseholes putting up, you know, fake reviews.
What I love about this is just tell it how it is. That's fantastic. That is the bish, bash, bosh approach. As we're doing this visually as well, just be aware your face occasionally is going off screen a bit. So
am I?
I can get to
I'm looking over. I don't know what I'm doing now. Yeah, sorry.
No, not at all. This is really
I've got a tiny little camera on this thing, and yeah, look, let's go. Let's be professional. Okay, I'm with you.
Wonderful. So let's get you on the open road then. Now you've answered how's your story of the day, and congratulations for progress so far with all things WeFix London. I just have one other question to ask about that. Presumably the Pimlico Plumbers forgot to put the non-compete clause into their contract, or maybe you served out a particular period because your family are back on it again, aren't you?
Yeah, we've got to put what in, Chris? Sorry.
You know, the non-compete clause, because what's ingenious is now you're going against what you sold for 140 million, and other entrepreneurs, lesser salt people would just drop the mic, think, good night, I'm off to the sunshine.
Oh, no, look, you're right. Look, they rightly tied in a 3-year clause in it that not to trade for 3 years.
Yeah.
my family could have. I think it was just me and my son who was shareholders there, but the rest of the family could have. But we didn't plan to trade again, Chris. I'll be honest with you. You know, getting that money 3 years ago, that was it. You know what I mean? That was me, Costa del Sol, Dubai, America. That's me done. Don't need to, you know, do it anymore. But you do miss the business. You come out of it, and after about 12 months, we thought to ourselves, you know what? I think there's a gap again for the sort of business. Things were dropping there. You know, people was unhappy. They was leaving. They weren't running it the way we run it. And it became fairly obvious that, you know, there's a massive gap in the market again for a superior, you know, home service company. So we started thinking that way. And then the 3 years was up September 2024. And, you know, we got going October 1st, 2024. Yeah. That's it.
You're a living personification, Charlie, of the old classic Only Fools and Horses thing. This time next year, we'll be millionaires, because you're going to go again. You've seen a gap in the market. You're going to pick it up and run with it again. And it's their fault for going too global and being bought by an American company.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, it's mainly my family's business, sons, grandchildren, more grandchildren, more family, and you know, it's more about their future. They've worked with me many years at the previous company, and obviously they got a few quid out of it, but now this is their thing. I'm not on the payroll. I'm non-executive chairman, and I'm not working from home neither. When I'm working, I'm there, I'm everywhere. You know what I mean? I'm not.
I've experienced you being everywhere, because, as I said, comically, this is the 5th time I've called out the plumber, and I will still be giving you a 5-star review.
Yeah, wonderful. So I don't know what the question was, but
no, this is wonderful. We've just been riffing. It's me asking an extra question about non-competing clause and all that stuff.
Yeah, look, we've got to have them in business, and we complied with it. We've done nothing wrong, and you know, I am today. I'm not trying to destroy the other. I'm not trying to, you know, make the other company look stupid or things like that. They're doing a good job of that themselves, I'm told. It's not going well for them, I'm told.
Yes.
Evidently, people are unhappy, and they've lost that warmth and that family sort of feel, and you know, probably the more sort of friendly approach kind of thing. But you know, I'm sure they're great at businesses. They have many of them. Go on, Chris.
No, that's great. And also that's a great lesson to all entrepreneurs about, you know, if there's a gap in the market, how to go and carpe diem and seize it. If you see that gap, because that's the whole point of business. If you see a gap, see a need, and you can fill it, get in there.
And I'm a great one, Chris. I just had this, you know, I'm not trying to mess them up, and we're not trying to nick their work. There's plenty of work out there for everyone. I always believe people always choose quality anyhow. You know, who's ever right is right. And you know, there's a massive shortage of tradespeople anyhow, especially in London. So, you know, it's not a case of doing people out of work, but it's just a case of, you know, getting back some of the market share and you know, getting back in control of it, I suppose. Yeah.
And I have to say, sorry, I'm not just blowing happy smoke at you. I think WeFix London is a bit Captain Cooper role. Says exactly what it's going to do on the tin. We'll fix London. Bish, bash, bosh.
Yeah, it was all based on that. It's all now about Chris, as you know, is like not window dressing, but you know, coming up with the goods. You know what I mean? I mean, everything's out in the open there now. Where years ago we had to, you know, we bought things transparent, but now it's a different ball game out there. And, you know, you just got to be, you know, people just need to understand what's going on, and you know, I've always believed in being transparent, but more so now than ever. And right as I say, you know, we don't claim to be the cheapest out there. We never have been, but we will claim that we will provide the best service that's available. We're not perfect. Obviously, we're going to have our mistakes, but it's going well at the moment.
And how big is the Mullins squad? If you were all to do a family gathering, the gathering of the Mullins clan, how many of you would be in the room, or in the hotel, or in the country?
You know, so it'd be I'm trying to think. Well, that's a question I've never answered before. I don't know. Where do you stop with the Mullins though? Because
well, how many grandkids have you got, Charlie?
11
at last count. And then so I'm just interested in
11 is 7 great grandchildren. Yeah, so that's what's that? 11, 18. Then there's 4 children. That's 22 wives or girlfriends or boyfriends, what they are, husbands. 22 and another 4. That's 26. I don't know. Is that it? Or I think there's more in there.
Well, it's your family. You tell me. So yeah, if you're going to invite them all, just make sure you don't miss anyone out. So
yeah, but there seems to be they seem to be your family. They've been around ever. You know, I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
You know, because the name sort of, you know, knocks on, doesn't it? You know, your grandsons are having kids, and then they've got, so about 30, should we say? Yeah.
Sounds like there's an opportunity for someone who's a bit savvy to come and go, oh yeah, I'm related, and I'll come in and just move in and be part of your family, which is fantastic.
Yeah, well, I've got three brothers also. I'm just trying to think where you end with the name Mullins when I think about it, and they've got big families. So on that side of it, it would take it to 50. You know,
and Mullins sounds really sort of quintessentially London. Is it a complete bosh London sort of tribe? The name Mullins, is it from?
Yeah. I think I was trying to think that. Well, London, Kent, Marbella, Dubai. Yeah, that. Yeah, mainly sort of the UK. Yeah.
London. There's a song in there. London, Kent, Marbella, Dubai. What we're going to talk about? Mullins. I won't sing that.
Sure
Get Rod Stewart to record it.
Hold on, just 1 second, Chris. Sorry. That's Bobby. He works for me, and he's just he's having early days in Spain.
See you, Bobby. Oh, wrong way. See you, Bobby. Wherever he's gone.
We have a little bishes out in Spain doing property maintenance, and property we look after. And
oh, hello. You've got WeFix Spain as well going now, have you?
Well, yeah. I mean, actually, he's got one of the bands that's going to be sign written up out here in Spain, because you know it's a great advertising market. You know, vehicles. You know what I mean? And you know, it's going to be you know, I think are very, very noticeable. And he's just saying to me today, Bobby, like, you know, he's reading some press about the company, and when are we going to get the signed written vans out here? Well, that's on the schedule. It's on the schedule. That's
what you were historically famous for with the Pimlico Plumbers back in the day as well. It was the fact you used to have number plates that were about plumbing appliances, wasn't it?
That's right. You know, look, to simplify it, our best advertising tool at Pimlico was their vehicles.
Yeah.
And there was the most recognisable vehicle on the road at the time. They had plumbing-related number plates. And, you know, I think we had about 250, 260 vans on the road, 180 had the private plates. And it's an amazing sort of marketing tool, absolutely amazing. We're going to do the same with WeFix London. Every van we got now has got a plumbing-related or a trade-related. Got quite a few WeFix and WeFix this and WeFix that. And we're buying up the plumbing ones. The unfortunate thing is, Chris, you know, once you've been involved in that and they know who you are, you know, they want to ask some fortunes for them again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, but anyhow, so we're going the same route, and that's going to be a great marketing tool. I actually believe the new WeFix London vans will be the most recognisable trade vehicle on the roads in London. I'm convinced on that. The old company was, but I feel we've gone up a grade again.
It's sort of in the Harry Stobart line of vehicles that are recognisable for what they do. Haulage is Stobart.
Yeah, well, that's where it all come from, didn't it? Stobart's, and you know, it's the name of their cabs or the lorry and that, and it just went from there. And we used to say that we was like, you know, the plumbers of the not Harry, is it called Harry Stobart or something? Eddie Stobart.
Eddie Stobart, yes, thank you.
And yeah, so we went along with that idea, and I think we really maximised on it, and that's what we're going to do with WeFix. Again, we're definitely going to. For me, the number plate it's a great advertisement. It's a good investment anyhow. You know what I mean? They don't normally lose on number plates. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, in researching you, what I really enjoyed, because I know that you are so often a media commentator for what's going on either politically or economically. And if I may, I thought you were the sort of white van man ballcock. Hey, for what was going on in the world. Thanks very much.
We've all got a view and opinion, haven't we? You know what I mean?
And again, that's not an insult. I'm just riffing on the idea of.
Yeah, look, I'm happy to say what I think, and most people don't agree with me, but you know, that's how it is, isn't it? You know, I'm not trying to say it to please them people, but you know, I'm sure that a lot of things I do say that's going on in the UK. People are going to agree with me. We're in a mess in there. And anyhow, moving on.
Okay, let's get you onto the curation of the structure now. So we're going to talk about a clearing, a tree, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Alchemy, gold, couple of random squirrels, the cheeky bit of Shakespeare, the golden button, and a cake, which I'm reincorporating because we've got a bit sort of sidetracked. But now my job is to anchor us back to the structure. So here we go. Charlie Mullins, serial entrepreneur. You're even fixing Marbella now. Where is your clearing or serious happy place, would you say, in your very busy life?
Okay, well, I don't think it's difficult to work that one out. Marbella, undoubtedly.
Right.
You know, if I'm in Marbella, this to me is where I want to be. This to me gives me time to think. You know, you're away from all the pressure of actually being right on top of work. And, you know, I just seem to have that much more time now. And, you know, if you're out in the sun and you're enjoying your sort of social life here, I think it just gives you that break from business, but it also makes you sharper because you start thinking clearer. So for me, undoubtedly is Marbella, but Dubai works just as well for me. Anywhere where it's warm, away from everything, and places that I'm used to. So here or Marbella or Dubai is where I'm at my best.
Where you fix the world. So Marbella, Dubai is where Charlie Mullins will fix the world from those places. Fantastic. Great answers. Now I'm going to arrive with a tree, rather comically, within your clearing. So I'm going to plonk a tree down. And this is mostly for my benefit. I came up with the tree idea because it's a bit Samuel Beckett, a bit existentially waiting for Godot-esque. That could be a load of what you're talking about. But it's to shake your tree now to see which storytelling apples fall out. So linked to The Godfather, it's a bit like, how do you like these apples? This is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you've had 5 minutes. Actually, you've had nearly 5 months and 5 missed visits to come up with 4 things that have shaped you, Charlie Mullins, first of all. Then there'll be 3 things that inspire you, 2 things that never fail to grab your attention. That's where the squirrels come in. And then the one is a quirky or unusual fact about you. It's not a memory test. I'm just giving you...
No, I mean, look, you said it as it is. So
4 things that have shaped you, first of
all. You said what inspires me or did inspire
4 things that have shaped you. So, you know, round about once a decade, something pretty that happened.
So from a business point of view, or where I am today is undoubtedly due to a plumber called Bill Ellis. There's no, unfortunately, passed away now. And when I was a kid at school, he lived in the area I lived in, and he explained to me about, you know, all this money he's got. He was a plumber basically, and car, motorbike, nice house, loads of money, jewelry, holidays, clothes, everything that you would dream of, or what I would dream of. And so I met him, and he just explained to me who he is and, you know, what he's got without exaggerating, just saying, oh, I'm a plumber, I've got this, I've got that, you know, and I was just so impressed, absolutely so impressed. So where I am today is due to one guy just explaining to me what he does and how he makes his money in a roundabout way, you know, and I followed that pattern from day one, and you know, I've done a lot of things that he'd done in his life that I weren't even aware of. You know, in other words, I followed a pattern that, you know, I didn't even know about. Like, he was a boxer, I've boxed. He was, you know, started his own business, self-employed. I've done that. He had a shop separate from his plumbing. I've done that. Then he had a plumbing business. He's had a few divorces, you know, had a few of them. He's had a few other issues, like in things, you know, nearly gone bust, and, you know, had a few different rows with different people. But I seem to follow these patterns, but not necessarily. I don't think I set out to do that. All I set out to do was be a plumber and, you know, get the respect that he got and earn the money he got. But other things have happened in my life that have just been, you know, identical to Bill kind of thing.
And did Bill know that he was a mentor to you? Did you make that explicit, and he would keep an eye on you and sort of...
I don't know that he would have kept an eye on me necessarily, because I don't think the social media was that much out there, you know, 30, 40 years ago. But he would have heard through family that, you know, I'm doing okay, etc.
So he wasn't a sort of lifelong friend. He was just someone you admired from near but afar, sort of thing.
No, he was just someone that we knew in the area. It was like, you know, when you live in an area and it's quite rough and you've got all the kids hanging together, and you'll see a couple of older people and you sort of look up to them. You know, they're like, oh, look, can you keep the noise down a bit, or stop throwing stones at the windows? You know what I mean? Like, the kids are the pests, and someone will come out that can relate to you and say, oh, look, would you mind, like, just, you know, if not, you're all going to get a clump anyhow. So you know who you're dealing with.
Yes.
And he was that type of person. He weren't a person to be messed about with. You know, he wasn't a bully. He weren't nothing like that. He knew what he was about and where he was going. And, you know, probably the richest man in the area to me, because who else had a motorbike and a car and money and clothes and jewelry and all of this, and, you know what I mean, living this amazing life. So it's just someone that people you know, took notice of in the area. Not everybody, some people hated him. I mean, a lot of people used to think he was a crook because he'd disappear in the middle of the night on his motorbike, and people would say, oh, he'd push it up the road, you know, and then start up round the corner. Now, all these people thought he was out, you know, absolutely good, but he'd done that because he's on emergency call out. He didn't want to wake people up in the area, you know what I mean?
Oh, so he was a nice bloke, ultimately, yeah.
Yeah, but people think he's doing well, and he, you know, he goes out at 2 a.m.
Yes.
People are thinking he's got to be at it or something. But, you know, when you got to know him, you know, he won't necessarily going around telling everyone, but, you know, I think then, even then, if he was doing okay, it was even harder to let on to people because things were so much more difficult. But yeah, I just totally inspired him. I mean, you know, to bunk off school and, you know, work with him, and I just think this is amazing. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, people are giving.
And he didn't form the Pimlico Plumbers with you. He was running his own enterprise. What was his business called?
I'd imagine just his own name. I think, you know, I get a feeling that Bill didn't want to go any bigger than just him. If you know.
Yeah. And just say his name one more time, just to plant it.
Say what?
Say his name one more time.
Oh, Bill Ellis. Sorry, Bill Ellis.
Yeah.
Bill Ellis from North London, and yeah, he was very successful, you know, in his own way, and I sort of followed the pattern so much. You know, he was very well known, and people respected him. And you turn up his house, and or we used to go Parliament Hill Fields and Hampstead Heath working in the houses there. And, you know, these people are incredibly wealthy film stars or movie stars and, you know, whatever else they're doing. And they'd be like admiring him. Oh, Bill, can't wait for you to get here, you know. And just people just sort of like the idea. And I think I followed that pattern with Pimlico. People wanted you there. They couldn't wait, and they trusted you and respected you. Yeah. And I remember when I was doing the proper apprenticeship in Wimbledon, Rains Park, you go to the house and have a sign up like tradesman round the back. I used to think, how rude is that? You know what I mean? You turn up and the woman's gone, no, get round there or take your shoes off. And I was only the apprentice then. Yeah. And I would just think, oh, I don't like this. You know, I just thought it was disrespectful. And then, you know, when you're up in Belgravia and Eaton Square and like all these millionaire rows and all that, people are at the front, oh, lovely to see you. Please come in. You know, it's just lovely, like, yeah.
So a little bit about the class system, where there's airs and graces further down the chain than there are at the top of the train.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Why would you tell a tradesman to go around the back? If you think about it now, you know, someone comes to your house and he says, I'm the plumber. You wouldn't tell him to go around the back, would you?
No, I'd say, come up and fix the toilet.
No, but do you understand what I'm saying? Then
no, completely. Just to keep your face in the screen again, Charlie. You're
sorry.
No. Don't apologise.
I keep looking because there's a little thing there and I should be, right, let's go for it. Okay, yeah, but things have changed now. People, you know, certainly admire and respect tradespeople a lot more than what they used to. And I also think they have a lot more trust in them today. They become like family friends, don't they? A lot of tradespeople, yeah.
So it's all about the relationship, stupid, is one of my favourite quotes. So obviously what you're up to now with WeFix London and previously the Pimlico Plumbers, it must have been all about the relationship with your clients, obviously.
Yeah, I didn't probably realise it so much at the time, but, you know, you get to know people and, you know, there's nothing worse, I think, than, you know, ringing up a company. No one's got a name or a face or what department they're in or what they're in charge of. And I feel that's what the Americans have done with the company now. You know, people tell me, you know, if we rung up before, even if we didn't speak to me, which you're highly unlikely to unless you particularly asked for me, they said they always had someone with a name and someone that you could put a face to and somebody that would deal with it on a personal basis rather than, you know, it's all become very, you know, press this number, go through to that, fill it in online.
Like an elevator list of different numbers to bury you into some
That's not the way I run the business before, and it's not the way we're running the new business. It's going to be done on a very much a personal basis and not all this AI nonsense, is it? You know what I mean? What it does it all. And again, it works for some people, but it's not going to be, it's not the way to run a superior plumbing service for residential people. I don't believe that.
Yeah. And I know I'm teaching you to suck eggs here, but it's all about, I'm hearing bish, bash, bosh, and it's all about the relationship, stupid. So if you've not put that in there as the sort of iconography, that's what it is. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, look, you're right. I mean, it's the personal, what would you say? The personal involvement, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all about the relationships.
Again, we had someone come on to us complaining about another company, the other company or whatever. And again, they said that, you know, we haven't got a name to go to. We don't speak to anybody. Evidently, you know, a computer answers the phone or something and picks a plumber. I mean, it's hard enough picking the right plumber when it's a human, but God knows how a computer thinks he can do it or whatever it is. And that's not, I don't think it's a way to run a type of business of this nature.
Yeah.
You know, we used to make sure that we used to marry the plumber up with the area and the type of customer and the age of the customer. You know, you might get an old established Belgravian person there. They don't want a younger guy that, you know, sort of comes out of East London, if you know what I mean. You know? But they would probably say, I'm all right with an experienced guy that comes out of East London, but he needs to be respectful in that. And I think that's what we've done great. We married everything up. And I feel that the way some people are doing their business now and letting, you know, this computer pick it all out, I don't think it's the way forward. For some business, yes, but not for home service business, not the way forward.
That's a brilliant wake-up call from the sort of entrepreneurial leadership slant of also what this program is here to deliver as well. This show is about. So that's a brilliant first shapeage, which is the man you followed in the footsteps of. And again, just to reincorporate deliberately, just I meant to write his name down. Just say his name one final time.
Yeah, Bill Ellis, who was a local plumber in Camden Town area. And for me, he's where I am today.
Great answer. Something else now that might have shaped you, or you can go straight onto the influencing, wherever you want to go in shaking your tree.
Okay, shaking the tree. So the next thing, I've got great work ethics. I believe I have anyhow. I would just say the thing that shaped me is having good work ethics, and I learned it from the parents. Like all their parents, they went to work, not necessarily have to have the best job or the best paid job, but it was a must to go to work, get up and go to work, and not, you know, lounge about and benefit nonsense and all this thing. You know, go out and sort of, you know, be proud to go to work and be proud that you're part of the establishment and be proud that you're trying to improve your life. So, you know, work ethics for me from my family is probably one of the other important things. You know what I mean?
And was that instilled by your mum and dad particularly?
Yeah, I mean, my dad would just be working in a factory, but he'd be up 6 days a week, goes to work. You know, it don't matter. They didn't seem to get flu then. They just went to work. It didn't, you know, that was it. That's what you done. And, you know, and I love that about anybody that goes to work. I don't mind if you're a road sweeper or a you know, crook in suit like a bank manager. You know what I mean? But, you know, as long as you go to work and do the best you can do, and then I admire them people. And, you know, so definitely that shaped me was my family / parents background of you have to go to work. That's what we do. You know what I mean? There's no substitute for it. That's what you do. You know, I remember them days. It was embarrassing not to have a job, you know, for older people or even younger people. You know, now I don't know, I don't know, maybe it's embarrassing to have a job for them now, but that's how it was.
Yes. Great shapeages so far. Any other things that shaped you?
Yeah, many things. I mean, I started boxing when I was 15, I think, and that changed massively for me because it makes you more respectful to people. It makes you more disciplined. It makes you follow the rules, and it also makes you stand up for yourself, of course. So a big change in my life, or that shaped me, was undoubtedly boxing. I boxed from 15 to 21, come out with an head injury. And that was, you know, probably the best years of my life. That's all I ever wanted to be, was a boxer. And it was looking good at the time until, but it's all someone out there better than you, isn't it? That's the problem. But, you know, I got beat against London versus Wales. Can't remember what year it was.
Well, it was a proper sort of London versus Wales. Sounds like an epic fixture. Fight. Only one way to call this.
That one, you know, for me, it was a big achievement to get a London. And, you know, it was a big competition that was on. It was like, this was on before they was picking I was never going to be an Olympic boxer, but it was about who was going to go to the Olympics for London. And
wow,
I stepped in. Some clever guy pulled out because if he'd have got knocked out, he wouldn't have been picked for the Olympics. So a very clever move. And they put me in well above my class, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
But you know, I had 2 or 3 other London fests anyhow. But the boxing definitely changed me. That's all I ever wanted to be, was a boxer, and I was convinced that's what I was going to be.
Yeah.
You know, I was up with Mancini. I don't know if you know the Mancini brothers in boxing. They was like the promoters, trainers, and Terry Spinks, and you know, all for signing up. And then, you know, they checked my medical amateur background. Wound up in hospital for a week with a leaking blood vessels, and you know, all of a sudden they don't want to know. So that was a massive.
A lucky escape then, if that was what was happening to you. So you got out at the right time.
Well, some people tell me, you know, but if I had the choice again, boxer or plumber, I'd be boxer.
Wow.
But, you know, it's a very short-lived career, and people say it was a blessing in disguise. And then I just devoted all my time to work. It was like, I've lost that, let's do this.
Great.
So boxing was another big shaping up thing for me. I suppose the other thing we have to say, you know, you come from council estate. I know everybody waffles on about them, but before council estates, you used to just have private accommodation where we was renting, no bathroom, outside toilet. And I think, you know, where you come from that type of life, or from a horrible council estate, you know, I hate council estates. I think they should bomb them all down and knock them all down tomorrow. That's my view on them, anyhow. You know, they just breed sort of, you know, unhappiness and people congregating and, you know, being left out of society. You know what I mean? It's just not, you know, you put in an high-rising block of flats and you're forgotten. Not that we was in an high-rising block, but and so living and being brought up on a council estate, I think is a massive wake-up call.
Yeah.
You know, and often people say to me, "Oh, you know, Charlie, you fucking don't remember where you come from." Well, I do remember where I've come from, and that's why I work so hard, because I don't want to go back there. You know, I'm not going to say I'm proud from coming from council estate. I'm not going to say, you know, oh, it's the best thing. You know, it was a terrible time living on there. The place was a shithole. You had fucking, sorry, I forget I'm on thing. You had all these, like, you know, oddballs on there that, like, you know what I mean, should be in mental home and locked up.
Yeah.
And, you know, you had a lot of unhappiness on there.
Yeah.
And, you know, like most people, I mean, I presume it's most people, you can't wait to get off there.
Yeah.
I was on there, and I think I left there, let me think, what was it? I think 19 or 18 or 19. I'd left home at 60, but unfortunately was still on that estate. And then I got married, I think it was 19, and rented a place up the Old Kent Road up there. And, you know, but it was a dream to get off of that council estate. That's what I'm trying to make my point is. It was just, I could not wait to get off it.
And it sounds like a great Monopoly board. Your career's been a sort of trail around the Monopoly board. You've mentioned the Old Kent Road, Belgravia's in there. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great.
But what a relief to get off it. And I still know people now that are still on there that I was on there. I mean, most of them are dead, but they're still on there. And they got no intention of coming off there, except in a box, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're fine with it. And again, if it suits you, but, you know, for me, it's just not a good way of living, you know what I mean? It's just not a good way of living. It's all that congregating and, you know, less like you're fighting against the other, you know what's going on out there.
Yeah.
You know, I should imagine council estates are 100 times worse now than my time, I would think. And so
it was a hard working escape, but all of your own graft to get you out there to somewhere different.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was determined to get off there. You know, I mean, I know it sounds like it's a prison, but you get so used to that way of life of that's what you do, you know. And I used to look at people there, and they, you know, you knew them at school, and then, you know, their family, they've had kids, and they're on there, and they've got a flat, and then you know, it's just building up, and you know, I think it's, I don't know, is there such a nice thing as a good council estate? Is there? I don't know. But I say, you know, when people say to me, you want to remember where you come from, and I think you don't get it. Of course, I remember where I come from, and that's why I work. I don't want to go back there. And what's the other thing? Council estate.
And that's a great series of shapeages. And now, if you like, we're on to 3 things that inspire you. If there's any overlap, that's fine. So we've done the 4 shapeages. What 3 things inspire you, Charlie Mullins?
Okay, the 3 things that inspire me is just going back to that shape thing again. Don't forget, let me just add this. I know we've run out of time, but the low...
No, we're not out of time. We're doing fine. Go
okay, but with low expectations when you're at school, you ain't going nowhere. Teacher's not interested in your career teacher. He was like, you know, what are you going to do then? I said, I'm going to be a plumber. And that was the end of the conversation. It was like, oh, he's a wrong one. Don't talk to him, everybody. You know what I mean? He ain't right. And he said, well, you know, I suppose if you can get a job as a plumber. And I'm thinking, God, I thought I had a right result getting an apprenticeship. But he looked at it as if to say, oh, he's going down the wrong road. They give you no hope. They've got,
Yeah.
You weren't going nowhere if you're at school. If you weren't one of them, like, you know, like busybodies up the front, like answering all the questions and, you know, licking the teacher's shoes, then, you know, they didn't want to know you. So, you know, the fact that people are knocking you when you're at school, I think great inspiration, a great inspiration.
Yeah, lovely answer. By the way, my son left the house earlier on today and he knew I was going to be talking to you, and he said, can you ask him if you got any O-levels, or because he was just interested in that question. So when you left school, as we're talking about it.
Have I got any?
Yeah, because I just thought,
no, not at all. I mean, no, I don't even know if they've done them then, did they? I really don't know. They've done some exam things. I don't know what they were, but no, I haven't got any. You know, I left school with no qualifications, little bit of education, which is okay. And I left at 15, and you know, I look back now and I realised, you know, so much that was a bad mistake. And I mean, I should have left at 14. You know what I mean? There's no point in being there if you know. What you know, I knew what I was going to do. I knew where I was heading. I didn't know it'd be this good. So what is the point of sitting there, you know, talking about logarithms and, I don't know, a bit of Latin or something, you know what I mean? Or like Bible bashing or something, you know what I mean? It's not.
Like Monty Python had it right. You can't talk to a dead with Latin. You can't even talk to a dead Roman anyway. So.
Yeah. So anyhow, I just feel that, you know, the fact that teachers at school and a few other busybodies, you ain't going nowhere. I think that's a great inspiration for people. With just really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Go on, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah, no, this is great. And anything else about inspiration before we go on to the two squirrels?
Oh, just the other thing. I think, you know, coming from what I believe is, you know, working class family, and you've got all these snooty people that don't think you're going to go nowhere, or don't think you've got anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're like, you know, the people look down to this class distinction nonsense. You know what I mean? How you talk, how you look, what you wear. You know, it's so wrong because, you know, unfortunately, a lot of these people that look down on you, you know, they you know, ain't got an ounce of common sense. You know, they ain't got two bob anyhow. They make out they've only got mum and dad's money. You know what I mean? They never earned a pound in their life, and yet they look down on you. But it's turning out there now. People are starting to realise that, you know, you don't need university, you don't need brains to make lots of money. You know what I mean? You don't need brains. You just need drive, willpower, enthusiasm, get up and go. You know what I mean? I mean, if I had brains, I'd be dangerous, Chris. That's
a great reincorporation. Drive, willpower, get up and go.
Yeah,
determination.
That's it. Just add this, Chris. I know I'm waffling a bit, but you know, the opportunity when you get a job, the change it makes in a person. You know, you don't think it does. I mean, as soon as you get a job, you become, well, hold up, I've got to shape up here, kind of thing. You know, I've got to turn up on time. I've got to do. And so many people talk to me now and they say, look, this is what I'm good at and this is what I want to do, but I can only get a job at this. I said, just take it. Don't matter what the job is to start with. You know what I mean? No one stays.
Whatever you do, put your whole self in. That's the philosophy that I relate to as well.
It's getting your foot in the door. And, you know, that's why I think you often read so many times that the guy who owns this company now, he was the tea boy, or he was the apprentice, or, you know, the guy that's got this massive, like, stores. I can't think of the fella, real wealthy guy, billionaire. Done a TV show with him, and Chris something his name is. And he's got all these range stores. I think he's just taken over Home Care or something. Sainsbury's one that's shut down.
Anyhow, Home Base, that would be.
That's it, Home Base. And, you know, he's out there bussing the fella, billionaire, and you know, not great at school and all that. Just went out there and got on with it. And, you know, and I just feel that opportunities out there for people. You know, you don't need brains to be successful. That's what I'm getting at.
You need common sense. Lovely. And now we're up to two things that are your squirrels. You know, borrow from the film Up, which
Squirrels,
you think you didn't see, but no, what never fails to grab your attention, squirrels, irrespective of anything else that's going on for you.
So these are things that inspire me, yeah?
No, we've done that. These are what are the random things in your life? Like in my life, it could be a ping pong table, but just because I'm really good at ping pong, but anything that just makes you go, oh, and it's a squirrel.
It grabs my attention, yeah? Is that the one?
Yeah.
What grabs my attention? Oh, blimey, let's look at me. Let's look at my answers now.
Go back to your notes.
Yeah.
Thank you for thinking all this through. I'm really chuffed at the amount of preparation you've done, actually. Thank you.
So what grabs my attention? Many things do. So explain that to me a little bit simpler, Chris. Is it like I'm going about my day and all of a sudden I'll go, oh, hold up a minute, I've got to look at it.
That's it. Your squirrel is hold up a minute. It could be shoddy workmanship. It could be literally a dog, could be a motorbike sound, anything that just makes you just go. I mean, the cliche is it could be anything beautiful, but, whatever it might be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, many things, isn't it? You know what I mean? Many things. I'm thinking because I'm trying to think, whenever I would say it.
So it could be a cake. It could be, if someone says, "Do you want a bit of cake?" Oh, ice cream. There's something you just can't, just makes you stop.
Yeah. I really think that grabs me is when a youngster's talking about work. You know what I mean? Or got his career ahead of him, or thinking of doing this or thinking of doing that. You know what I mean? Or sort of, just starting a new, what I mean? They're setting out in it, and they're just trying to see, want a little bit of, basically they know who you are, and they're going like, I'm thinking of doing this and thinking of doing that. I've just started here, they can't see the end result. You know what I mean? They can't see what it can lead to. And I think just when I see people struggling with that, I want to tell them what you can do. You know what I mean? That's what. And it's hard to just go up and say, look, I've done this and I've done that. But when people say to me now, I'm going to do I'm doing an apprenticeship, I go, you're the winner. You know what I mean? That's it. If you want to be a millionaire, be an apprentice plumber. That's what I would tell somebody. Yeah. And so when I see people talking about getting just anybody in work, if I'm probably being honest, I mean, I like the idea of youngsters because, they need that guidance to know where they can get to, if kind of thing. Because, it's pretty grim out there, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're being guided the wrong way by the wrong people. You got Labour, telling people do this, don't do this. They're nonsense, and they're penalising successful people where they should be saying to youngsters, get a job, build a business up, become an entrepreneur, get people into work, do training schemes. That's what we should be inspiring. So, I like to. Probably anybody that's going into work and wants to talk about work, I'm happy to hear it. You know what I mean? I'm just pleased when people are pleased to say, I've got a job, ain't the best of job, but, I'm sure I can progress from here. And you see them people in a year later, they're a different person. They're like, boom, up and running, buying their house, if it goes well for them. So that's one of the
great
things.
Squirrel. So enjoying other people's entrepreneurial success is a great squirrel. That's a good answer.
Yeah, well, I don't like the ones that give it large and they've never really done it, but they've got mum and dad's money kind of thing.
Yeah, it's got to be hard graft, honest hard graft.
I like the are sort of saying that it weren't laid on the plate, and I'm going to do the best I can do, and that's all you can do out there. I like people to go to work, Chris. Really, I know it sounds I'm a bit of an oddball. I don't even get locked up for it, but I think anyone that goes to work is great. Anybody, I have to word it carefully because you get all the fucking busybodies onto you. But anybody that's generally has got to be on benefits, disabilities, or caring for someone, or generally sort of mental sort of issues, then they need all the help they can get, and probably even more help. I'm just against the people that should not be on benefits and can go to work and won't go to work. They're the people I don't like, but.
That could be a really good answer to a sort of negative squirrel. You just don't like people who want to freeload and have the easy ride with no work.
Yeah, well, in Ponces we call them from where I come from, but yeah.
I'm
sorry, but you are.
No, that's all right. No, you're here to tell it how it is. That's the whole point. Yeah. And now, the one is a quirky or unusual fact about you, Charlie Mullins, serial entrepreneur, that we couldn't possibly know about you until you tell us.
Sorry.
No, that's great.
There's a million things, I mean, I suppose you wouldn't have known about me about boxing because I don't think I look like a boxer or talk like a boxer. So that's one thing. A lot of people wouldn't know about me OBE, would they? Unless they're up on it. So I think a lot of people I meet are very surprised when I tell them over this OBE.
2014, I've done my research. That's when you got your OBE.
When was it? 2014.
Yeah, I just told you that. Yes, it is. That's when it was.
No, that's what I'm asking you. I ain't got a clue.
Oh, sorry. Yes, it was in the research I did.
I know I'm due for an upgrade, but not
We're going
Chris, and they tell you this nonsense, people. When you say you got an OBE, it comes out in conversation, and you go, well, what you got to have? Well, plumbing services, apprentices, all the bits, and they really struggle to get their head around it. You know what I mean? And they start coming up with this nonsense. Oh, you must have bought it. You must have bought it. And look, if you could buy them, I would have bought a knighthood, wouldn't I? Obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm over the moon with that, and not many people, unless you know me in the business, would know about the OBE. But many people now don't even know about it. So that's probably one of the most unassuming things about me. What's the other unassuming thing?
Your work here is done. If you give me one quirky or unusual fact, that's fine.
Quirky one, okay. Quirky one. You wouldn't know about me. Yeah, I'm very, very family orientated. I don't think you'd work that one out. When the grandkids there and kids, you know what I mean? Are sort of, I'm very family orientated.
Your grandkids, what do they call you as granddad? What is that it, or is there another name for you?
Fucking granddad, I should think. Not
Hey?
fucking, but fucking granddad again.
Oi, I'm going round fucking granddad's house.
Yeah, not that. What they call me? Granddad, I suppose. But
Sometimes it can be pops,
whatever. And they quite like that. You know what I mean?
Say that again.
I'm the one that. When your daughters and that are saying, oh, you can't take the kids out because, you'll lose one, or you buy them this and they give them chocolate. I'm that one that they talk about that does that for them. I buy weeks the ice cream. We go where we shouldn't go. I don't mean that, we don't, if they're out and about with me, they have a good time. They don't want to go home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great, Charlie. That's a great cool fact. If you go out with me, you don't want to go home. That's a wonderful, wonderful fact. Great.
Yeah.
Charlie, we've shaken your tree. Hurrah. And now we're staying in your clearing, which is Marbella or Dubai, wherever you can fix the world from, wherever you're in the sunshine. And now we're going to talk about staying in the clearing, but we're away from the tree, talking about alchemy and gold now. When you're at purpose and in flow in your life, what are you absolutely happiest doing is what this is about. So when are you at your happiest?
Okay. When am I at my happiest? Okay. Let's get this right.
Come in. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
When you have to think, it's hard, isn't it? When am I happiest? I'm happiest when I'm traveling. I love Dubai. I love Marbella. You know what I mean? To me, that's like the reward of working hard.
Yeah. And are you always going on your own, or do you always go with an entourage? Though your immediate family around you.
On my own. I'm not that odd, am I? Of course I don't go on my own. What do you mean on my own?
Well, I mean, when you say I love traveling all the time, are you always going as a big squad?
Oh, so no, I'll be with my wife, girlfriend, or partner, or both at the same time.
Right. That's an unusual fact we didn't know.
No, don't worry. That's well documented. That it's cost me a fortune. That one. No, look, I don't travel on my own, but I might go to Dubai and 10 of my family would be out there, so it's all lovely to meet up. And I come to Marbella, and some of them have place out here, and some are coming out. And I'm speaking to my grandson today, and I ain't spoken to him for a while, so I knew he wanted something. He said, "Oh, I was thinking when we're coming out to Spain again." Him, his wife, Lily, and Ivy. And I said, "Just come out whenever you want, Charlie." So I think I love the travelling, and if people that are related or I know, you also meet up out there, I think that's just wonderful. You know what I mean?
And where you're based, do you have do you have a big plot where you got lots of spare rooms so people can invade from the family?
Yeah, well, it's not open for you're not talking about migrants and immigrants, are you? And illegal.
No, I wasn't talking about that.
It's it's big enough for family to come, but if not, I'd rent them one up the road or something. But they never have a problem with that. But they can't all stay here at once, but they tend to come different times. And it's big enough for that. It's not like it's not like, I don't know, it's just a villa and a 4-bedroom villa, you know what I mean? But it's lovely. So that's what I love. I love when they come out here or meet up abroad and they enjoy what I would say, you know, is why you go to work, to get good things and enjoy them. And it's lovely that they come out.
So Alchemy and Gold now, your purpose is about enjoying the fruits of your hard work and your labour. And the work's not over yet because you're still playing it forward. You're still contributing. You're still being an entrepreneur.
Right. What's the question though, Chris?
That was just me reaffirming. And that was me just summing up what you've just described.
Yeah, yeah.
And now this is the final bit we're getting there. I'm going to award you with a cake now, Charlie. Woohoo. So first of all, do you like cake?
Yes.
So given a choice, it's a metaphorical cake. I may even send you the real cake, but what type of cake do you want, Charlie?
Strawberry tart.
Thank you. A strawberry tart shall be yours. Now you get to put a cherry on the cake with stuff like, what's a favourite quote that's always given you sucker and pulled you towards your future? So something that someone said to you and you thought, boom, I'll have that. So
okay, yeah. A man who never made a mistake never made fuck all. But in better terms, a man who never made a mistake never made nothing. So I use that term a lot, you know, because I've made many mistakes and people get on your case. Oh, you know, you know, a man who never made a mistake never made nothing. So I'm happy to make mistakes because you learn from them and it means that you're going forward. So I love that saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Lovely. And now, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given by somebody else, Charlie?
Okay. I've got this one spot on. I've been saying this for the last probably 55, 60 years. This plumber, Bill Ellis, many years ago, said to me when I was bunking off school, working as plumbing, he said that if you get an apprenticeship with a trade, you'll never be out of work and you'll earn loads of money. And I say that to people now, you know, 55 years ago, it was probably harder. You say it to someone now, it's more meaningful now than ever.
Yeah.
Get an apprenticeship, get a trade, or just an apprenticeship. You'll never be out of work. You'll earn loads of money. And, you know, I just feel that was given to me all them years ago. And probably without that bit of advice, you know, God knows. You know what I mean? In other words, that was, you know, I probably didn't even believe it at the time when I said it. You know, how can you predict that you'll earn loads of money and never be out of work?
Yeah.
And this was a, you know, qualified plumber then. And I've done all that now and I've got to what it can lead to. And, you know, as I say it to people now, and I like to say, I said, look, this is what said to me when I was thinking of getting an apprenticeship. And I said, I'm saying it now with more confidence than anything.
Yeah. It's totally
apprenticeship,
it's
earn loads of money, never be out of work. And then that's up to you then, Chris, of whether you want to be a, you know, rich plumber or just a plumber. You know what I mean? It's up to you then. It's or whatever trade you take on. Once you've got that, the learning bit behind you, the 4 years, I think it was 4 years I've done. And, you know, I think they cut it down now, but, you know, once you've done that, like, you're just set up for life, you know what I mean? I didn't quite take it on all them years ago because it weren't explained like that, but it was explained, you'll never be out of work, you know, and you'll earn loads of money. And there was both things I think that was what you needed. You had to be in work and you had to get money.
And it's stood the test of time because here you are, a living personification of that. It's
oh my God, I mean,
and you're still doing it.
Yeah. And I say a lot of youngsters today, you know what I mean? Get an apprenticeship. I said, you'll learn loads of dosh, never be out of work. And it's like, how do you know that? But, you know, nobody could predict, I think, that tradesmen would be so much in demand and earn so much money and shortage of them. I mean, I'm not working on that basis anyhow. I'm just working on, you know, where we are today and, you know, the demand for them things. But if you think of plumbers there now, can you imagine another 2 or 3 years?
Yeah. Lovely answer. And now, inspired by Shakespeare, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players, which is the 7 ages of man speech. It's about, you know, man has 7 ages, entrances, exits. Borrow from being an actor, just bear with it. So now we're going to talk about legacy. How, when all is said and done, Charlie Mullins, would you most like to be remembered?
Okay. Definitely. You know, I want to go back to the plumber. You know, it was a young lad that, you know, had nothing, and you know, started an apprenticeship in plumbing, and you know, it's the stories there. You know, bought second-hand van, bought second-hand tools, and then, you know, as the years went by, built up this amazing business. So you've come from rock bottom, I think, to top of the tree, and yeah, I'm sure there's many probably tradesmen that have done it, but I don't think there's many that have topped me at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I think I spoke to you once, Chris, that entrepreneur thing actually on stage, and I've realised the ultimate in business now, and everyone's different opinion and different agree, but to me, the ultimate in business, if you can start a business from nothing and cash it up at the other end, is there anything better than that? I mean, I've employed 400 or 500 people at a time. We've had 1,200, 1,500 apprentices over the years. You know, but is there anything, you know, and a 50 million turnover, but to start, you know, this business as a self-employed plumber, and then sell it as this, you know, probably the most, well, it's definitely the most recognised plumbing company in the world. And it was definitely the best in London. And I just think, for me, that's what I want to be remembered as that. However you want to word that, you know what I mean? Started as this and wound up with that. Or,
and if I may, what's astonishing about you is you haven't just thought you've achieved that, drop the mic, good night. You're now going again, as I said at the very beginning, like a phoenix, you rise again to do WeFix London, to do the same thing, but better.
But better, yeah.
So what's your ambition with WeFix London? If you, because you've already had the legacy you've described, and then you've not stopped.
Well, I'm looking for nothing out of it. I'm not on the payroll, and I've said that a couple of times, and it still ain't changed. But I just feel, I don't know, what was the question?
I was just affirming, wow, most people.
Why have you gone again?
Because you've achieved it. Yeah, that's a great, sorry, good interpretation.
Well, I'm not trying, it's like a boxer, you know, he wins a world title, and then he drops a weight, I'll go, and then he wins another world title. You know, I ain't trying to say I've done it once, I can do it again. I think what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to do is, this is a great little system there, you know, rather than let it go by the wayside, you know, let someone else benefit from it.
Lovely.
You know, okay, that happens to be my family, but, you know, I'm sort of same with the apprenticeship thing. You know, I'd say to somebody, I benefited from that apprenticeship thing. Now you need to benefit. And I think that's how I think with the business. We got a top business going. Many people want to run a lovely business. You know, I mean, that's a dream of theirs, and make something of themselves. And I just think the opportunity is there again. Put it in the right box and let someone have a go at it. So it ain't about, I mean, I can't be, you know, as you said, I've done what I need to do. You know, I ain't going to get no more brownie points for doing it again. You know what I mean? So yes. It's more now about, you know, it's a great, you know, I don't know how to word that really. It's typical. It's like I'm trying to say, like with the.
Well, I tell you what, it comes full circle to you being like Rod Stewart. Why he's keep going, because he loves singing. I think you love. I don't say you love plumbing, but you love being an entrepreneur. So you just keep.
I still love plumbing. I mean, Chris, if you give me a choice, like sit in an office or, you know, go and work and putting the plumbing in somewhere, I'd go into plumbing all day long. I mean, coming away from plumbing was a nightmare. But you know, I learned in life, you know, you can't. You can't sort of be the captain of the ship and stoke the boiler. You know what I mean? You've got to have one or the other. And of course, the captain, you know, is more respected and gets better money. So, you know, it's you know, it's not that, you know, I didn't set out to be a businessman. I mean, I was set out to be a plumber, and the rest is just, you know, it's, how would you say it? We some people are wired different, aren't they? And you know. I always say this to people: you don't need brains to be successful. That's probably the point I want to make to people. Yeah. And you know, sometimes I think brains can do you more harm than good because you think too much and work the wrong right. And you know what you do. I mean,
I agree with you. Yeah.
You know, Chris, I say to apprentices, like, you know, look, it's pretty straightforward. You do your apprenticeship. You know, you're qualified. You know your stuff. You turn up at a customer's house. You do the job. You collect the money. It ain't complicated, is it?
Yeah.
You know, and I just think that that's what people need to realise, that, you know, it's just about getting out there and getting on with it and having that drive and enthusiasm. The other thing, Chris, I wish that I would have thought bigger years ago. You know what I mean? You know, we don't think big enough as an individual. We think, oh, maybe I'll do okay. Maybe I'll buy that house. Maybe I'll get this car. But I now realise the bigger you think, the higher you think, you know, the more you get nearer it. Do you know what I mean? If you know, all I want to be was a plumber, and for years that was it. Then all of a sudden it came to me one day, I want to be more than a plumber. I want to have people working for me. And then I remember the time I come up, I want to have 20 people working for me. And then as time goes on, I made a thing at the end. I want to turn over 50 mil, and 500 people working for me, and I got to that. But I should have had, I want 5,000 people working for me. I want to turn over like $1 billion.
That's when you go, we fix global. As you, if you can fix the planet, we'll all be very grateful for that, because it's a little bit effed, isn't it?
If I can fix the planet, I won't be sitting here doing this. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, look, of course, look, most important thing, Chris, to anybody in business is just give it your best shot, and you know, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it, isn't it? You know?
Yes. And now, couple more moments to go. Where can we find out all about you? I'm going to just show up the WeFix London QR code. So if you're watching this, show us your QR code, please. So just give us the URL of WeFix London, Charlie, while people look at the QR code as well.
Yeah, I think it's wefixlondon.co, I think, you know what I mean? I know I should know better, but
does it have .co, you know what I mean, on the back of it? That's lovely.
Oh, you know what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is, you know, if you can't find it, then you shouldn't be looking for it anyhow then, because you know what I'm trying to say. You'll find it if you want to find it.
WeFix London. And then I know also your, sorry to interrupt you, your own personal website is Charlie Mullins OBE website. Can you remember the URL for that? I've got the QR code up.
Charlie Mullins OBE something.
Google OBE Sunning, we'll find it.
OBE.com or so. What's that email, isn't it? I don't know.
Who knows? Anyway, Google that as well. Yeah. That's great.
Look, Chris, can I just add this? Look, you know, this social media business is great, and you need all this IT and all that, you know, and you know, but there's plenty of people out there that you can always buy brains, you know what I mean? You can't buy driving enthusiasm.
Yes.
But yeah, look, you know, if there's anyone listening there and I think I can give them a bit of advice that may be helpful, just email me something through, and you know, I'll give you my reply on what worked for me. But you know, it's all about how much you put into it, it's how much you're going to get out of it.
Lovely. And the one final thing is there's something called Pass the Golden Baton, please, which is a bit like that. They don't like it up by Mr. Manring, but now you've experienced this from within. Is there anyone else that you know of, Charlie, that you know would love being given a damn good listening to in this way, that you'd like to pass the golden baton on to?
Yeah. I'm not thinking of a name. I'm just thinking there's various people I know out there that can give a good story across and help many people. Alfie Best is one of them. Alfie Best, okay. You know, the gypsy billionaire. I mean, you know, me and him are drinking from the same teapot, as many things go. You know, get up, get out there and make it happen. And you know, I would say he's another one that left the UK because of you know, the Labour nonsense of penalising successful people. Yeah, I'd go for Alfie Best. I mean, great inspiration, great story, come from nothing, billionaire, and all about get up and go. Yeah, so let's pass it on to Alfie Best. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Thank you for that. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to furnish me with a warm introduction to Alfie Best. As this has been your moment in the sunshine in the Good Listening To show, Charlie Mullins, and thank you for bearing with me as it took me months to finally get the plumber of awesomeness to turn up. I'm only joking. But was there anything else you'd like to say, Charlie, having had this experience? Well, I believe it's going to be very helpful for some people because, you know, like, you know, I only had one guy's advice and guidance. I think today there's a lot more platforms out there like this that you can pick up advice and pick up things. So my real value of today is that other people will benefit from it and be successful. And again, Chris, you know, another thing I learned in business, you know, we all learn from somebody. You know, we all learn from somebody saying something or doing something or thinking, and you know, that's how we learn. You know, and my little bit of guidance I had has got me where I am today. So I'm hoping loads of people out there listen to little bits and go, do you know what I'm going to do? I'll give that a try. Yeah, maybe he's right. You know what I mean? But, you know, I don't wish anybody any harm in you know, running a business and going for success. You know, it's not a bad word. I mean, they you know, unfortunately we're very much against successful people in the UK. We're changing now, thank God. But you know, go out there and make it happen, and you know, don't apologise for being successful or working hard. You know, just go out there and make it happen.
Charlie Mullins, thank you so very much. So just as a bit of an outro, I'm Chris Grimes. If you watching, listening would like a conversation about being on this show too, the website for my show is thegoodlisteningtoshow.com. Also, there's very excitingly a new series strand coming very soon to the show, which is called Legacy Life Reflections. It's been there anyway, but I'm making more of a thing of it. And it's to record the story of somebody near, dear, or close to you for posterity using the structure of this show, lest we forget before it's too late, without any morbid intention. But have a look at legacylifereflections.com coming soon. It's all part of the goodlisteningtoshow.com website imperative anyway. But I've been Chris Grimes. I'll just flash up a QR code of that's where my website is. It's the goodlisteningtoshow.com. You've been watching also on LinkedIn, but if you're also watching, contact Charlie Mullins or me, Chris Grimes, on LinkedIn, and obviously we'd be delighted to connect with you. Thank you so much, Charlie. You've really, really been worth the chase. I've just thought this conversation was so helpful and so rich and really enjoyable, actually.
Yeah, look, to be honest, Chris, you know, it's you know, it's very difficult sometimes to, you know, you put your side of things across, and it don't mean you're right, but it's worked for you. You know what I mean? And that's, I think, you know, it's very difficult because, you know, it's not a magic formula, is there? And some people might think, what a waste of time he is. You know, they can think what they want, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I've done what I said I'll do. And that's, you can't say that away with me. So
sitting in the audience that day, I sincerely thought, wow, if you've done that and you've done it and you've sold it for 140 million, you're onto something, and you can say what you like, really, because you've done it. And what was very compelling is
perhaps the difference with me,
you do say what you like, and that was really very intriguing. During the conference, you said some things which would be a bit Marmite, not to me. I actually thought it was really, I enjoy the Marmite-ness, because I think you need to be, in life, we need to have an opinion, and you've certainly succeeded by having an opinion backed up by a work ethic, is what I think.
Yeah, but I think that's the point I'm trying to get at, because exactly that, you know, when whatever people think of me, you know, it stacks up what I just said. It ain't like, you know, dreaming or making out, you know, apprenticeship, sold it 140 mil. That's it. That's the ultimate for me. But maybe there is a new ultimate out there. Maybe it's doing that with 2 companies.
Yes.
You know?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Charlie.
Thanks, Chris.
Me too. And I'll be in touch as soon as it's all live. Thanks so much. Thanks for watching. I shall end the stream there. Anything else you want to say? That was in case you went, yeah, only like good night. Thank you very much. Drop the mic. I'm just checking there's nothing. I'm ringing out the phone.
Sorry, was that me, Chris, you're talking to? Anything else I want to say? No, look, thanks very much for having me on the show, and, you know, keep on keeping on.
I'll be in touch soon. Thanks so much. All the best. Thank you for watching. I've got to press a button called end stream, which is a bit like I'm ending a week.